All right, so I'm here with my friend Gabe Garibay from Antioch, California. We just did a deal about a week ago when I was able just to create a great deal. Gabe did a great deal. He got a $50,000 assignment fee, but that's not going to be the focus of this call. The focus will be again how we got to this point, how we build a relationship that gave me a call, pitched the deal to me. I saw the value, and he pretty much gave me the deal without getting into a multiple offer situation. He shared his assignment fee with me. He didn't hide it. He wasn't again afraid that I will go around him because we had a relationship. So that would be the goal of this call is, again, how to network, especially if you're a newbie. Gabe has done a great job networking and just, Gabe, maybe you can start again how we started our relationship. It was probably more than a year ago. What was your thought process, why you reached out to me? And obviously it paid off because you got a $50,000 assignment fee. Aside from the fact that we did another deal that we net for both of us, I think it was $35,000 that we split between us.
Yeah.
So tell me again, what's your best tips of building a relationship with a co-wholesaler or another investor or just a newbie that wanted to start in this business?
Yeah, so the way I met you was I saw you doing things on Facebook. I know you're really active on Facebook. You teach virtual wholesaling. And at the time, I don't think I had much under my belt when I think it was over a year ago, like you said. And it was scary, but I wanted to reach out to somebody who was already doing it. Like I said, you want to follow people who are doing what you want to do already. So I saw you doing it on Facebook. I reached out to you. I think I offered to meet up for coffee out in San Francisco. So I was willing to drive out to you because I knew how much value you provided. I didn't have a problem driving.
Yeah. How much is the drive? How long is the drive from Antioch to San Francisco?
Well, it should be about 40 minutes, but with traffic, it's probably like 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So it took me. It's a drive, but considering the type of value that you provide and what I can bring to the table as well, I thought it was really worth it. So. Just reaching out to people when you're first starting, it's scary, it's intimidating because you feel like you don't have much to bring to the table at first, but you just have to reach out to people and be real with them. Don't come out saying, I'm the #1 wholesaler. I can, you just have to be real with them. Say, I'm brand new. I want to build a relationship. How can we work together?
Yeah. So I'm sure now that you've posted a lot of your deals that, again, people know that that you're doing deals. So I'm sure people reach out to you, again, they want to pick your brain or buy you a coffee or whatnot. So how do you pick who to meet and who is not? Because at one point your time is valuable. I know that just to get you on this call, again, took me a while to pin you down and get you. So there are a lot of tire kickers out there, that a lot of people who want to be, but not willing to drive 1 hour to San Francisco to meet with somebody. They don't see it as an investment. They just want to take information from you, and they don't see how they can add value to others. So how do you screen for people before you meet with them or jump on a phone with them?
Yeah, so I like to help people out. That's my thing. I do it to help people out. I love giving back. But there is some people who just contact you with, hey, here's my email. Send me everything you have. Send me all your contracts. Send me your buyers. Send me, everything that you have. And those, as much as I want to help them out, I do have people that contact me and say, hey, I can go out and work for you. I have time. I can go find a deal for you. I have some money I can put into marketing. Let's work together. So those are the people I want to work with, is people who actually bring something to the table as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the things that I always check when people reach out to me, I check their Facebook profile and I see again what they post.
Me too.
If they post bullshit and they don't add any value, even just they just have deals or there's pictures of properties, they don't show any personality, they don't show family pictures, what they up to, or they just doesn't look like an interesting person. Usually that's a turn-off for me. So if you again post a lot of content outside, you give, And I think that's attract people, the law of attraction. You just give, and then you will attract the right people to you. So I guess my point is, if you don't post anything on Facebook with adding values, and again, if you don't have anything, just post motivating quotes or videos that you watched, or recommendation of books or podcasts that added value to you, that you think other people will benefit. That's something that you can do, even though it's not your information, but at least you share. What's your thought about this?
Yeah, I completely agree, man. There's, I know a lot of people who say, I don't want Facebook. It's a lot of drama. I don't like being on social media. But we're in the era of social media, man. You have to be on social media. You got to be posting, connecting with people. We met off social media. If I wouldn't have had social media, me and you would have never met. We wouldn't have done these deals together. So yeah, you have to be posting you have to be on social media, posting positive things, helping people. I do believe everybody has something to offer. Like you said, even if it's not your own, you feel like you don't have anything to offer. Like you said, there's a bunch of information coming to you every day. You can share the stuff that you learn with people.
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk said, again, you can DJ information so that it's not yours. So that's great. So let's talk about how you and I, when we met, again, do you remember how we started? Obviously, I believe that you need to bring to the table either capital, if you have it. If you don't have capital, you need to add either expertise. And if you don't have expertise, you need to add hustle and sweat equity. So depending of where you at, again, most newbies are, again, they don't have the capital and they new, so they don't have the expertise. They're still in the learning phase. So they have to bring the hustle or to some type of small investments just to show to the other person that it's worth their time, because the person gives you your time. So you have to offer something in return.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk again how we structured our first? Obviously, we met for a coffee, so there is good vibes. Again, you drive all the way for Antioch. I posted stuff on social media. I try to add value. So we obviously decided to meet because we both see the potential value. We both locals. So you remember how we structured the first JV agreement?
Yeah, so I believe when we were talking, we were trying to figure out a way that we can work. I know you were doing virtual deals out in, I can't remember, I think Memphis and another state. And I was doing things here in the Bay Area. But at the time, I wasn't, I still needed a direction to go. But I do know the market really well. I can negotiate well. I can find off-market deals. And so that's what I brought to the table is, I can find these deals. Let's do some mailers together. So we agreed to put our capital together. And, because at the time I did have some money put aside, but I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the full expertise as you did. So we brought money to the table together. We sent out some mailers and we stayed consistent. It was rough in the beginning. I remember we didn't get absolutely nothing, but we just stayed with it and got that first deal.
Yeah. So we both decided to contribute towards the marketing. So I had experience marketing in Memphis, and I said, okay, let's just take the same list. I know how to pull the list. I know which mailers work for me. Let's try the same thing in the Bay Area. So we split the marketing cost because that's what we felt was fair. Again, depending on what each person brings to the table. I was dealing with the Podio and screening the leads and booking appointments for Gabe. And Gabe pretty much went to the property. He was the boots on the ground. He met with the seller, negotiated with the seller. And I remember that we did maybe 5 rounds of mailers and we got, again, crappy response rate. Maybe two appointments maybe that they are not very good. And then out of the blue, somebody, again, there was a landlord that the tenant just moved out and they were out of the area. It was the absentee seniors list, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And we just found him in the right time. Do you remember how it came down? Again, it was a pretty cool deal because it was not the traditional wholesale deal.
Yeah, I believe we did. How was this one? It was a while ago. How do we do this one? So,
yeah, I think we assigned a seller financing deal.
That's what it was. Yeah. The seller, He wanted seller financing. And that was my first time doing it. I kind of took your lead on that one as well. Like I said, you had the expertise and you knew exactly how to structure this deal. And I kind of followed your lead, but I was definitely glad I did it because I learned a lot doing that deal.
Yeah.
So it was a seller finance deal, and we ended up assigning it to a buyer on Bigger Pockets, I believe we found it.
Yes. So it was, again, fairly not complicated, but I just negotiated to get a seller financing deal that I know that the end buyer will cash flow. And we did capture some equity. And we basically, the way we make our money, it was the down payment arbitrage. So we just put 10% and we assign it for, again, 20% for the down payment. And I think we made $35,000. And the cool thing is, again, I was in Israel when it happened. And Gabe was pretty much dealing with all the closing agent, with some putting out fires with buyers that one buyer committed and then they backed out and then another buyer stepped in. But overall, it was a good deal. So I think, what else? How can somebody that wants to, I know that you did a deal in Dallas, which was semi-virtual deal because you were actually there. But I think so can you explain again, how did it go? You did like an 8-plex property.
So I'll try to keep it short. I was in Texas, Central Texas for Christmas. I was visiting family, and we decided to drive around with my brother-in-law who lives there. And we ran across an 8-plex that was all boarded up. And then I ended up skip tracing him. I had to leave back to California, but I actually found the property while I was there. I was physically there when I found the property, but I did all the work when I was back in California. I was doing all the skip tracing, trying to locate the owner, negotiating over the phone. So everything was pretty much virtual except for finding the property. But, I had to find the buyer virtually. I sent out all the contracts, dealt with the title company and all that from California. But it was driving for dollars. It was a vacant property. And then I just did the work as I would usually do if I was here in the local market.
Got it. So I guess what I'm getting out of you from you, if you are a newbie and you want to start in this business, you don't have a lot of money for marketing, which is usually the case, and you don't have a lot of money for coaching. So I think Gabe gave you just 2 great tips on how to do it. A, network and add value to another experienced investor that you can learn from him, but at the same time, you have to add value. Nobody will take you, again, I don't want to say nobody, but very few people will take you under the wing just because they want to mentor you for free. It has to be, you have to add value somehow. So figure out how to add value. And number 2, if you don't have money for marketing, you just have to drive for dollars. I think that's the most basic, going back to fundamentals. Driving for dollars.
Yeah, I love driving. I tell everybody that's brand new that I meet. I tell everybody, and only maybe 1 or 2 people actually do the driving for dollars. Everybody, I guess, wants it, because anybody can send mailers. I like mailers, but anybody can do it. You just put some stuff in the mailbox and it goes out. But if you really want to put in the work, if you really want to find a deal, drive for dollars. All you need is a full gas tank, and you can fill the pipeline up that way. Driving for dollars. So
got it.
I love driving for dollars.
And there is ways, I systematize driving for dollar systems out of state. So you can have people driving for dollars. You can pay them per lead, or you can pay them on the back end if you close the deal. I know that, again, you offer a referral fee for anybody who bring you a lead. I use a different approach because I pay people who bring me leads. So you bring me a qualified lead, you're going to get paid. So you can structure it however you want, but I think you have to do it. It's, again, there is a point that you stop learning and start doing. And this is, again, even though if you can give yourself permission to fail, to mess up initially, but that's again a great lesson. So usually when you do driving for dollars, so you get an address, do you mail them? Do you skip trace them and call them? What's your approach?
So I kind of do all of the above. So what I do is when they're here local, I look up the owner's info. If the owner lives local within driving distance, maybe an hour, hour and a half, I actually drive out to their property that they live at, and I door knock.
Oh, wow.
So I actually door knock them, and that's how I got a lot of my deals, is being face to face with these people.
Got it.
And I just simply get straight to the point. I say, I know you have a vacant property at XYZ. Are you interested in selling?
Got
if they don't live local, I skip trace. I have my VA actually send the idea I got from you, actually, the postcard with the vacant picture on it.
Yeah.
I have my VA send that, and then I also do the skip tracing and call them, email and all that stuff. So, but I like to door knock. If they're local, I like to door knock. And
unannounced, you just show up and you just door knock and you tell them you just drove by your property in Antioch and saw it been vacant, and I'm here to see if there's anything we can work.
Yeah. So what I like to say is, I was actually down the street. We're looking at another house to buy, and I passed by yours, and I noticed it was vacant. I looked up through public records. It shows that you're the owner. Are you interested in selling?
Got it.
I like to get to the point. I know a lot of people, other people I talk to, they knock on the door and say, hey, I'm looking for houses to buy. Do you know anyone who's looking to sell? I know some people do it that way. I just like to get straight to the point. They know why I'm there. They're not stupid, so.
Got it.
I just get to the point and let them know they have a vacant house I'm interested in buying.
And people usually open-minded. What kind of response you get? Again, get out of here, or how did you find out? Or
I've never gotten. I guess the most negative I've ever gotten is, how'd you find out? How do you know I own the property? And I just say it's in public records, and they're cool about it. So, and I've gotten some good deals. I actually got a deal down the street from my house. I door knocked her where she lives, and she said, I'm actually going to the property tomorrow to clean it out. Do you want to come check it out with me?
Okay.
And so if I would have never knocked on the door, I wouldn't have gone over the next day. And I actually went over the next day, and I got the contract filled out. And it was I think $28,000 deal or $23,000 deal or something like that. So a lot of people have that fear. They don't want to door knock. There's no right or wrong way to do any of this. I think some people think a lot into it, like step by step, find the property, go knock on the door. There's just no right or wrong way to do it. You just have to take the action.
Right. Yeah. Just do it and figure out a way. Okay.
Yeah.
Lastly, I want to ask you again about our specific deal recently. I know that it was a driving for dollar deal. It took you a lot of time to lock it on a contract. There was some drama. Again, a lot of people see the check, but they don't see the process of how hard it was for you to get this deal. Which, again, I guess people have to do it and to find out that it's simple, but it's not easy, right? This is, again,
that's what I tell everybody. I always say that.
Yeah. So just from so now let's just shift gears from a wholesaler buyer relationship. I know that, again, a lot of people believe in, again, the bigger the buyer's list, the better the chance to get a deal. I know that you have a different approach. So can you speak about how you build your buyer's list, how you usually unload your deals for the highest price possible?
Yeah, so I actually don't have a huge buyer's list. Some people have 10,000, 50,000. My buyer's list, I can count on one hand, So I don't build a buyer's list. I don't blast my emails, my properties. I do what I did with you. I reach out to people. I meet with them. So I have maybe 2, 3, 4 solid buyers that are actually friends of mine. Just like me and you are, we're friends. We can talk outside of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So I only have a handful of buyers that I deal with. And, like on this property, when I have something, I'll just call you directly and say, hey, come check out this property. So I don't like the whole idea of blasting emails. It's not really personal. Mm-hmm. You don't have that personal relationship. You don't know what kind of business those people do. When I'm dealing with you, I know exactly how you work. And I know you're not going to try to do anything behind my back. So that's the beauty of having that personal relationship.
Yeah, it's go back to, again, building a relationship. Again, it can be even if you're starting and want to learn the business, but also with buyers. If you want to sell your deal and you have a relationship with a person, you met with him for coffee, you know what they're about, what they're looking for, you can give them a call on the cell phone and they know who you are and you're not a complete stranger trying to pitch them something out of the blue. You'll have a better chance to work a deal. Again, some people may argue that you're leaving money on the table by not trying to maximize the profit. But I think there's less drama when you're dealing with with a personal relationship. So how do you know that when we show to the property that you felt, because we told you up front that we're going to use a hard money lender. A lot of people say that here hard money lenders, again, it's only for cash. How do you know if it's to stick with an investor or to know, you know what, I probably need to prepare my backup in case they don't close?
That's a tricky one, because like I said, I don't deal with just anybody. I've sold all my properties I sold to, I've only probably dealt with 4 different buyers.
Okay.
So all these people that I deal with are all people that I deal with on a daily basis. We're always communicating, networking. So, I guess that one deal that we did in Pittsburgh, we dealt with a buyer that we never knew, and it backed out. So I just like dealing with people that I'm used to. I like dealing with people that I worked with in the past. I've heard horror stories. I've heard horror stories of buyers going behind wholesalers' back, getting the deal. And honestly, I never thought once about that when I was dealing with you. It never crossed my mind, is he going to go behind my back? Is he going to cancel once he sees that I'm making $50,000?
Mm-hmm.
I never had that worry with you, because again, we met up. I knew what you were about. We had the same goals, the same values. So, I never worried about that.
Yes. And also, I want to point out that you left enough meat on the bone for us to make money on the deal. So even though it was a $50,000 assignment fee, obviously I would prefer to pay you less and make more, but it still was a good deal. And again, going into this deal, you know what your numbers, and you need to make sure that, again, what you offer still makes sense for you to make money at the back end.
Yeah.
And if we did an analysis, and we're going to wholesale this property. So we basically closed on it. The property was full of trash, and we basically cleaned it, and we put it back on the market, again, as a fixer for another buyer to bring it to the finish line. And we still think we're going to clear $40,000 or $50,000 in 30 days. That's
we can't beat that.
Yeah. So Gabe, again, the key for being a good wholesaler is having a good relationship with your buyers, your investors, but also know that they need to make money on this deal. So you have to structure it that it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah. It's not all about us. It's not all about how much money can I make. It's how much value can you bring to the buyer. It's essentially, we're working for the buyers, and the sellers. We're the middleman for the sellers and the buyers. So we have to make it a win-win for the seller, make sure they get what they want, make sure we leave enough meat on the bone for you guys, for the buyers, and also enough for us to feed our family at the end of the day, So
absolutely,
it's all a win-win for everybody. You can't think all about the money. You have to think about how can you bring value to everybody.
Got it. That's great. So I think, again, I think this is only the beginning of, again, the relationship. We obviously want to grow this relationship. I'm sure we're going to do more deals. I always say, Gabe, that you need to start to close on these deals so you can make more money. So hopefully the next one we'll be able to do something, not just an assignment deal. It's maybe close and maybe do a rehab or wholesale deal. I know that you're looking at few leads that may fit this criteria, so you can make more by closing on these deals. And I always tell people, again, wholesaling, it's a great strategy. It's probably the best strategy out there, but it should be only one strategy in your toolbox to make money in real estate. Obviously, there's a lot of ways to make money. Wholesaling is a great way, but sometimes you need to develop a skill so you can look at the deals from, again, multiple approaches, analyze which exit strategy makes the most sense, and then move forward accordingly. So what's your thought? Do you want to be only wholesaling properties? I know it's great. It's been great to you. You make a lot of money doing it. Or you want to try to do more, like fix and flip, maybe wholesaling, or the other strategies that I mentioned?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking to transition. I want to build my wholesaling business to a point where I can kind of step out of it a little bit, get it more automated, and step into other things as well. I got into wholesaling just because it's an easy way. No money, no credit, any of that stuff. You don't need to get into it. Obviously, you need money for marketing, but that's about it. So that's why I got into it. It's been good to me these last couple of years. But yeah, I'm definitely ready to move on and like you said, do some flips and stuff like that with you.
Got it. So any last tips for somebody who, again, I think most people who watch it, again, most people follow me, again, more of the virtual wholesaling, even though, again, recently I started to do more project locally, in addition to wholesaling out of state. So somebody who just starting, which I think the majority of the people who just getting into real estate, what would be the three things that you recommend them to do right away? As beginners, assuming they have no money, they just want to start to make money and change their life, spending more time with the family, travel more, live life to the fullest, and all this, again, good stuff, again, because everybody should know that wholesaling is just a tool to meet an end. I know that, again, you travel a lot with your family. So what's you think the best tips for somebody who's just starting out in real estate?
Yeah, so obviously what we've been talking about this whole time is networking. Get out and hit these real estate meetups. Start meeting people. You know, I've met people today where I never thought I would meet 2 or 3 years ago when I first started. You know, get out and network. Talk to people. Don't be intimidated. Just go out. Let them know your real situation. I'm new. I'm looking to get started. And you'll be surprised. I mean, 99% of people who are in this business, they want to help. Mm-hmm. People don't have a problem helping you. But again, you have to bring that value. You can't just sit in front of them and say, teach me everything you know, teach me everything. I don't have any money, but teach me.
Right.
Don't be that person, but just go out and network with people, meet people. You'll get introduced up the ladder more and more as you start meeting people. So that's the first tip I would say, is just start networking. Another tip is just do it, man. It's so simple, but just pick up the phone. I would say get on Craigslist, make an appointment, go on an appointment this week. You're not going to know what you're doing, but just go and get it out of the way. I still remember my first appointment like it was yesterday. My whole hand was shaking with the pen. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know what I was talking about. But after I got that first appointment out of the way, I felt so much better. Like I was ready to just hit it hard. So I would say just do it. Just pick up the phone, start cold calling, go on an appointment. Even if they're not motivated, just go so you start getting the feel of it. And those are the two biggest tips. Just network, just go out and do it. And just trust the process, I guess. Trust the process. Know that it works. You have to put in the work in order for it. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do this business. You just have to trust the process. Never burn any bridges, and just go out and do it.
Yeah, great tips. Again, just allow yourself to be stuck in the beginning, and always again, you're gonna be stuck in the first appointment, and then you're gonna be just a little less stuck, and then you'll be okay until you just go to enough appointment until you're gonna be great. So that's the mindset, but you have to start somewhere. So stop listening to podcasts, to videos, to Facebook, and learning. Again, the best way to learn is by doing.
Just go out and do it. I mean, my first appointments, I hated going on them because I was nervous. I didn't want to go on them because I was nervous, but now I'm excited to go to appointments. I'm not nervous at all. I go on appointments. I'm excited. I know I can help these people. And that's where you transition to just repetition, Yeah. And, you're going to suck at first. Like you said, it's not going to be perfect. You can't expect it to be perfect, but just like anything else, we didn't know how to walk when we were little, but we started learning and learning. So just go out and just keep doing it. It's repetition.
Got it. Great tips. All right, my friend, thank you very much for jumping on this call. I hope people will learn and take a few nuggets from this call. It's been a pleasure working with you. I'm looking forward to doing more deals with you and growing together and learning from each other. And I know that this is just the beginning of our relationship.
It is, man. It is. And I want to say something real quick. This that you sent me, man, I will tell you what, it's something simple like this, like the book that you sent me. 2 years, almost 3 years in the business doing deals, and this is the first time someone's done something like that. So it just shows your character, what kind of person you are, and that's the type of people I want to work with. You're the real deal, man. I'm glad I met you, and you gave me the time to sit down with me and talk to me.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure, Gabe. It's a great book, by the way. But again, it's the little things that can build the relationship. Again, it's $11, $15. But it's something that I'm sure Gabe, the next time that he will have a deal, he will think about me because I took an extra effort to send him a book or to send a thank you card. And I think thank you card, it's a great tool that you can leverage to your advantage. That's what I do. For every deal that I close, I send a thank you card or a book to a buyer, to the closing agent, and to the seller. It's small things that, again, small investment that can be a great return on investment for you moving forward. So here's again the last nugget for the day. But Gabe, thanks again, and I look forward to working with you again.
Hey, thank you, man. My pleasure, man. It's good working with you.